Yeah, good morning. Happy Wednesday, or whenever you are watching this video. Today is Wednesday, July 9th. Wednesday, July 9th, and we are headed to Orange Theory. So I'm going to my favorite Orange Theory class. I go every single Wednesday. I see him. I go every single Wednesday to this Orange Theory class, and I try to get in 4 miles. So if I don't get in nothing else for the rest of the week, I'm getting in these 4 miles. And this week has definitely been an off week for my workouts, but it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, welcome to the day in the life of an HR professional in tech. We are going to talk all about my job today. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Cece. We talk about productivity, our corporate careers, and just all around how to be a badass woman on this channel. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, follow me on the socials, all the things. I am a senior employee relations business partner for DoorDash. So if you guys watch, you guys know that. I've been in HR for quite some time, for a little over 10 years now. That's crazy. I've been in HR for a while, in the people space for quite a while, and I think I've accumulated a lot of knowledge. So I'll take you guys through my day, let you know what my typical day looks like, and we'll also talk about some things, okay? Some very important tips and tricks to help you along through your career. So the first thing I do most days, that has not been the case for the last couple of days, but the first thing I do most days is move my body. I do not feel good about myself unless I move my body. It just helps give me energy for the day, and it helps me really to check off one thing and accomplish one thing, because like, my job is not easy. My job is it can sometimes be a little mentally strenuous. If you work with people a lot, then you know that sometimes you can carry those burdens with you. Like in the HR space, we know everybody's business, even stuff we shouldn't know. So sometimes you can carry that stuff with you. So I like in the mornings to be able to work out and relax and just move my body, do something for me before I take all that on everyone else's stressors on, okay? So that's the first thing we're doing. It is 7:30, not even 7:25, and we're gonna move our bodies first, and then we'll head back home and we'll get our workday started. Jesus, 4.1 miles down, 4.15 miles down, all done. Oh, let's go home and wash up. I just sat down getting ready to start work. I need to clean off this desk a little bit because my desk is a mess, but I'm getting ready to start work. My first meeting is in about 10 minutes, so we'll definitely chat after that, but I just wanted to check in. I just got dressed, did a little makeup, also did my hair. Now, y'all, the hardest part about having this pixie cut is figuring out what to do with my hair when I come back from a workout and I have to work or I have to go somewhere, and it's not a wash day or whatever. I definitely wash my hair more frequently now, so I've been washing my hair like twice a week, and I'll refresh my hair kind of midweek, especially if I'm like in a heavy workout week, which is pretty much every week, but I'll like refresh my hair in the middle of the week. But I am doing an entire like pampering routine because I'm going out of town this weekend. So I'm doing that in 2 days, and I just didn't want to wash my hair today. It just didn't make sense, and I'm going to wash it again in 2 days and do an entire routine. So I didn't. So I just did like a dry mold, and like I said, I have a meeting in 9 minutes now. So I'm trying to get this hair to dry for me. Could I have sat under the dryer while I did my makeup? Probably, but it'll be dry enough in 9 minutes to take these molding strips off. So yeah, that's been my life with the pixie cut. It's been kind of hard on work days when I'm like working out and trying to keep my hair looking decent. And I could just throw on a wig, but y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. I wore a wig all last week and I was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. That was a long wig too, so that was probably completely unnecessary and the reason why, but I was just so uncomfortable with the entire wig. And so I'm like, I really don't want to put a wig on. I am liking my short hair. It's just a lot. But anyway, this is the start of my workday. Pretty much I spend the first half of my workday, I'll say the first couple hours of my workday, checking emails, kind of going through my to-do list, looking at what I need to do from yesterday that I didn't get done, what needs to be done for today, what are my non-negotiables for today, all of that. I have a separate work planner from my personal planner, and it's just this one right here. It says best week ever on it. I got it from Amazon. It's super simple. So basically, I'll show you another week. This is what a blank week looks like. It has your top priorities. Let me take you off face track. Okay, so it has, you can put your top priorities here, your to-do list. It has a habit tracker. I don't really need a habit tracker for work. And then I fill in the dates with what I want to get done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so this is what she looks like. So on Monday mornings, I write everything down that I need to get done for the week. And I just kind of add to that running list throughout the week. And then as the week goes on, I fill in what day I want to get those things done that are on the running list. So that's kind of how my week goes. I live and die by my planners. As you guys know, I live and die by them in my personal life. I live and die by them in my work life. It is just, for me, the best way to stay organized and make sure that I'm on top of everything. In order to be successful, you have to learn how to delegate, and you also have to learn how to be that expert executor. So when things do come down to you, when it does come down to the wire and something needs to be executed, if you're the go-to person, like, you have to know how to be that expert executor. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is having your shit in order. So you're organized and you know what needs to be done and how it needs to get done. So I kind of have a hybrid little situation going on here. I have things in my calendar, like my work calendar as well. And I also have files and folders in my actual workspace digitally, but just like in my personal life, I have to write things down as well. That just makes things a lot easier for me. So I'm about to get ready and prepare for this meeting real quick, and then we'll come back and chat a little bit. been working so hard, so I'm so happy to have a couple minutes just to take a quick break with you guys because I wanted to talk to you a little bit about career growth and how we're going to get you to the next level and your desired career. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about advocating for yourself at work. I just came in the kitchen for a little change in scenery real quick, but I want you guys to really understand the power of advocating for yourself and what that does for you, for your career growth, for your confidence, all of that. That is probably the number one question that I get asked. How do I advocate for myself at work? How do I advocate for a raise or a promotion or this or that? So I will tell you, my first piece of advice is that sometimes it just ain't happening where you at, okay? And I think you need to make that assessment for yourself, but sometimes it just ain't happening where you at and you got to get up and go. I tell y'all that all the time. Sometimes you have outgrown the company, the position, whatever, and you have to really sit down, look at that and make that determination, okay? So let's just get that out of the way first. The next thing I'll say is you want to follow up your request with data, with clarity and with data. So first you want to get clear on what it is that you actually want and why you want it. So what do you want? I want a raise. I want a promotion. Let's get clear on why you want it, because sometimes we ask for things because we think we're supposed to. I've been here for a year and I just feel like I should be at the next level. I've been here for a year and I just feel like I should be making more money. Why? Why do you want that? Sometimes when you really dig deep and ask the whys, you realize that you're asking for something that you don't even want. So make sure you have clarity on what you want in the first place. The next step is to understand how you are going to communicate that why I deserve insert blank here. Why do I deserve that? How can you communicate that to your leadership team? There are several ways to do that. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. The first way is to make sure that you have data to back those questions up. So when they say, well, why would we give you a raise over Kevin? Why would I give you a raise over Kevin? The first thing you're going to do is have data to back that up. And how are you going to get that data? Say it with me. Just say it with me, because if you've been watching, you know what I'm going to say. You're going to have your brag doc already ready, okay? And that brag doc is going to have every single thing that you've done, every single accolade. It's going to be equipped with numbers and how you've made impact in the last project you did and how many projects you've done this year in 2025 and what type of kudos you've gotten from upper leadership, from cross-functional partners. All of that is going to be in your brag doc. We have talked about this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know how many more times I can say that it is so important to keep a record and a running list of the things that you are doing and the things that you've done. That is the only way that you're going to remember everything you've done, and you are going to be able to advocate for yourself with this document. So as you're answering, why do you deserve, insert whatever it is you want here, when you're answering that question, know who it is you're talking to. So your leadership team is going to ask for outcomes. So like I said, you're already going to have that written down because you've already been filling out your brag doc, right? So make sure you are giving outcomes. You are giving a business case reason for why you deserve the raise, not because your rent went up. Not because inflation is high and you think you deserve a raise. Now, all of that may be true, but that's nothing that your leadership team cares about. If I'm your leader and you come to me and say that mine went up too, now what? Now what? Like that is nothing that I care about. You have to really give that what's in it for me approach, or what's in it for them approach. You have to come to them with that approach if you want anything, if you even want them to consider your request. You're also going to pick the right timing. If we just went through layoffs last week, why would you think we're giving you a raise this week? That's just not going to happen. Let's be realistic, okay? If the company just talked about restructuring or just talked about how tight things are, why would you think we're going to give you a raise this week? Like, that's just a bad judgment call and bad timing. And if you really feel like it's something you deserve, insert step 1 here. Maybe it's time for you to move on out and find something that better suits you, that will pay you better, and that is able to give you those raises that you want. You're also going to practice your pitch. So when I say practice giving those business case reasons for why you deserve what it is you want, like just like you would practice an interview, right? You know how when you have interviews, you go through mock interviews, you practice those answers in the mirror, you do all of that. I want you to do the same thing with this pitch, because that's what it is. You are really trying to pitch yourself to get whatever it is that you want. And if you're stumbling over your words, I mean, look, charm just goes a long way. Being able to sweet talk people really goes a long way. So making sure you really understand what it is you're talking about, you're ready for follow-up questions, all of that is super important when it comes to trying to pitch yourself. So look, you're your own best advocate, okay? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if there is something that you want, go after it. If you want to be lead on that project, you want that raise, you want that promotion, you want to be next in line for whatever it is, make sure you speak up, because a lot of times your leadership doesn't know what you want until you say it, okay? I am very vocal about the things I want, and that's why I feel like I've been so successful. And I think it's really important that you understand it's no one else's job to advocate for you but you. So make sure you're doing that so we can all be healthy, wealthy, successful girls, okay? All right, I got a meeting that I'm late to. Let's go. All right, y'all, we're back. Something y'all don't be doing enough for me is using ChatGPT at work, okay? Because ChatGPT is my girl. I'm telling you, it's my girl. And I'm about to have it make me some talking points, I should say. If you haven't seen my ChatGPT video, make sure you check it out. I did an entire video on how I use ChatGPT, and I didn't even scratch the surface on some of the things I've been using it for, but I tried to pack as much as I could in that video. So I am about to ask ChatGPT to write talking points for a termination, and I need to give my leader these talking points. And so I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. So I'm about to put in a prompt. I'm trying to see if I can... I don't think I can show you the prompt. We'll see. We'll see. If I can show you the prompt, I'll show it to you. If it's a little too intricate, I will change some things around and I'll give you a little example of how I use it. Okay, I just finished my talking points, but my prompt is a little more specific than what I want to share. So let me tell you what I have prompted in the past. So here's a prompt that I've used in the past. You guys know I manage terminations a lot. That's just what I do. So one of the prompts that I've used is, you're an HR professional and need to craft talking points for warehouse employees whose manager was just terminated. So I've used those talking points in the past. And then once they give you the talking points, ChatGPT likes to put headers on every single thing, so you can't just copy and paste it. So what I like to do is say, please remove headers from, which I guess I could just put that in my prompt without headers, but I like to then prompt ChatGPT and say, please remove the headers from the above. And then it'll just give me just the talking points. I can copy and paste it in a Google Doc and then make any changes. Now, the more specific you are with the prompts, the better off you'll be and the less changes that you'll have to make. So if I wanted to get super specific with ChatGPT, I could say you need to craft talking points for warehouse employees whose manager was just terminated. Please include talking points about reassurance and support for the team. Please include talking points that have next steps, how the operation will continue. Any of that stuff you can add into there. Now, I will tell you, ChatGPT is very intuitive, and a lot of times it will give you those things and you just have to reframe it with the specifics that you actually have for the situation. But it's just so intuitive, and then it starts to get to know you as well. So you don't have to always put, I'm an HR professional, I'm an employee relations professional, or whatever it is. My work actually gives us like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini for free. I usually just use ChatGPT though, but then I also have my own personal version where I use it for personal things as well. But it's super helpful at work because any type of document you need to make, any type of deck you need to make or anything like that, you can put the information in ChatGPT and it'll make it for you. And it'll give you all the talking points. It'll script it out for you. Whatever it is you need to do, just put in the prompt. ChatGPT will do the rest. You got to do a little reframing and a little fine tuning, and you can do that all within the application. It's so amazing. So if you're not using it for work, like, you're missing out on getting ahead in your corporate career by using ChatGPT. I'm just saying. All right. made it. All right. It's the end of the day. Today was super productive. It was a little mentally draining, a lot of stuff going on, but we got through it, honey. All right. It is 6:53 and I'm finally about to start dinner. Mark and I ran to the grocery store to grab a few items. So I'm going to make these chicken sandwiches. They're so good. This is not a cooking tutorial. I'll show you guys some little clips of me making it, but I kind of wanted to end this day talking a little bit about my just overall HR journey in corporate. So you guys will hear me talk a lot about being in HR and using HR, human resources, and ER, employee relations, kind of interchangeably. So I am a senior employee relations business partner. Now, at many companies, I would venture to say more often than not, your HR business partner will have the employee relations role kind of encompassed all in one in that role. So at my last company, I was an HR business partner and the ER roles were all encompassed in my role. And that's how it works, I feel like, at most companies, but there are a good amount of companies that are breaking up the two. And I think at larger companies that makes sense for the most part, just because you give people specialized tracks to focus on, especially when you have a big hourly population. There is a lot of employee relations issues. And so I think sometimes you need a specialized person to work on those issues and you know, to keep the company policies and the way they apply those policies, just to make sure that whole process is seamless. So like I said, I'm in ER right now, but I'll use the word HR interchangeably because that's what most people understand. So working in HR, let me get this stuff out the refrigerator and then let's do a little chat. All right, so I got them fries on. Now we're about to start on this chicken while we talk a little bit. So let me move my phone away from this chicken juice. Working in HR is wild. And if you work on the people team, HR, ER, whichever, then you know, you are the fixer, you're the strategist, you are the therapist, honey, the person everybody wants to vent to. That is you. And you kind of take on everyone else's issues and problems. Like I was saying earlier, like it feels like you take on everybody else's issues and problems, and sometimes there's nothing left for you at the end of the day. And not even just nonsense, because I deal with a lot of nonsense, but there's also some very real issues when you deal with people. And you'll have employees who are going through hard times at home, homelessness, domestic violence situations, stuff like that. And sometimes it can be a lot. So I feel like HR has become a more popular profession profession? Yeah, a more popular profession over the last few years, but it can definitely be a lot sometimes. Now, that being said, I also hear a lot of you saying you haven't seen the money to be made on this side. And so to that, I say, girl, you just got to figure out where you fit in, whether it be at your company or another company. If you guys ever hear me talk, then you know that I am a huge advocate for getting up and leaving when the company no longer serves you. And I have this saying, I think a lot of people have this saying, but you either need to be learning or earning, okay? And I think I want to add to that a little bit. So let me tell you what that means. Basically, if sometimes you take roles as stepping stone roles, right? You take roles, you know, this role is not, it's not, you know, the next step on the ladder. It's maybe a lateral role or something like that, but you take it because of whether you think the title is going to get you where you want to go faster, or you take it just because you want to learn something in that role. Maybe it's a great role to learn how to lead a team. If you've never led a team, maybe that's the case. I don't know. But there's a reason. There's so many different reasons that you can take a lateral role, and there's nothing wrong with that. My career has absolutely not been linear. I actually just posted a reel on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you are. But I actually just posted a reel about my corporate career, and my career has not been linear. And so you got to think about that. So either you're learning in the role or you're earning. You have this role because it is the next step in your career. You are making the money that you want to make, and, you know, is doing what it needs to do. Now, that being said, if neither of those are happening, if you are no longer content with what you're earning, no longer content with what you're learning, then maybe it's time to move on. And I'm a huge advocate for moving on when the role no longer, or the company no longer serves you, right? So I think that's a question that you really have to answer for yourself. Now, I work in HR in tech. So as you guys know, I work for DoorDash. DoorDash is a major tech company. And so I have found that tech overall pays more. Tech is also very volatile. Being in the tech sector is also not for everyone. Very fast-paced roles. And I think that's not just in HR, that is in everything. Tech moves extremely fast. And you can get terminated faster. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to keep up. You have to keep your skills sharp. And so, but they do pay you. They will pay you for that. So it might be a little more volatile, but you will get paid for that volatility. I don't mind being in a more volatile role, just because I know my shit's together, right? I know my skills are sharp. I know my shit, and I know I'm good at what I do. I know I'm great at what I do. Now, if that's not you and you don't feel as confident about where you are, tech might not be the best place for you. And that doesn't mean that there are not other places where you can earn good money. So think about what type of roles you're applying to when you think about whether it's in HR or whatever other space. Think about the types of roles you're applying to, and think about the type of companies that you're applying to and the pay that you may get for those companies. Because what companies offer you, it depends on the company, maybe how large it is. It depends on the location, where you are. Like, there's so many factors that go into pay. And I think people are usually like, oh, well, but you know, they're paying this at this company for this role. Titles are another thing that are super arbitrary. So they may be paying $100,000 for the title of HRBP at one company. But what they do at that company may be completely different. What those HRBPs do may be completely different than what they do at another company who pays an HRBP $60,000. It also may be in a different location. Somebody may be paying an HRBP $130,000. And so you have to think about that. Benefits are also super important, so don't sleep on your benefits. That's your PTO. So I've had unlimited PTO at my last two companies, which is really just manager approved PTO. A lot of people don't like unlimited PTO because there's nothing to pay out at the end of, like if you decide to leave your company, there's no payout because it's unlimited. So there is no set amount that you would be leaving on the table. But baby, I don't leave PTO on the table. I don't know why you guys do either. Don't leave any PTO on the table. I take my time, all of it. Y'all know how many vacations I be going on? Why in the hell you worried about what's left on the table for PTO? You should be using that PTO. That is what I do. I don't play about my PTO. I use my time. I take my time. So think about that. Think about your PTO. Think about your health benefits. Do you have a sickly child? Are you someone who gets sicker and goes to the doctor a lot? You know, so are the health benefits good enough for you? What other type of programs do they have? Like, there are companies that sponsor adoption programs, and there are companies that once, you know, they started doing all the overturning Roe versus Wade, that they will pay for you to go to another state to get an abortion if that's something that you choose to do. So think about those types of benefits when you think about the company that gets to buy your time, because that's all work is, right? You're selling your time to the highest bidder, or maybe not the highest bidder, but to the bidder that gets you closest to what you want. Okay. So that's all work is. It's a business transaction, nothing more, nothing less. Don't be letting them people stress you out. I don't care how much you get paid. You do not get paid enough to get stressed out. Okay. Work, for most of us, unless you a doctor, something like that, like I tell people all the time at my company right now, baby, we just delivering food. That's it. That's it, baby. We just delivering food. Okay? So if you make a mistake, if you mess up, if you do something wrong, if you make a bad call, a bad judgment call, I mean, don't let it be too bad. But honey, we just delivering food. It's okay. But yeah, y'all, that's all I had to say. Nothing really else. I'm just going to finish cooking these chicken sandwiches. I will show you guys the finished product. If I can find, I can't remember if I still have the link to the recipe or not. I make this so much, so I know it by heart. But if I can find it, I will absolutely find it for you guys so you can make these too. My kids do not eat a lot. And so this is a meal that the entire family actually eats. And I don't have to fight with these kids to eat. So it's really, really nice. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this day in the life. If you like these videos and want me to do more, I feel like I kind of have gotten away from talking about my career as much as I used to. And I don't know why. I think it just kind of felt repetitive for a little bit, but I feel a little bit of a renewed spirit in that regard. So if you guys like these videos and want to see more, please let me know and I will absolutely do more. I hope our little chats were helpful and I want to see y'all using them because I want you to tell me, okay, how much you have freaking grown in your career by using my tips. And don't forget, I am back to doing one-on-one career consults. I'm back to doing, I have new offerings, so resume, review, service, interview prep, all that stuff. Check out my Stan store. It's linked below in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.